What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and as you guys know, whenever we make our Deadpool videos, whenever we talk about Deadpool, we cast aside all the seriousness in our videos. We cast aside the instructional method of the videos. And I don't know why I'm saying we. I cast aside the instructional method of the videos, and instead we replace it with humor. And so what we're going to be doing as our lead up to Deadpool Kills Deadpool is we're going to be doing the different versions of Deadpool, the characters that make up the Deadpool core, because the Deadpool core will be a main part of Deadpool Kills Deadpool in that story. So without further ado, let us jump into it. The first character we're going to be doing in this video is going to be Dogpool. So, Dogpool comes to us in Prelude to the Deadpool Core in issue number 3. Now, normally I would do this in terms of their appearances and chronology, but because of the fact that each story is dedicated to different characters, it doesn't really matter whether we do it in order or not. So, because I think Dogpool is the coolest character, like the coolest concept of the Deadpool Core, we're just going to start with him. Now, what we do here is we pick up with a man named Dr. Braun, and what's taking place in this alternate reality, which of course the numerical designation isn't really given to us here, is that Dr. Braun is basically trying to establish a concept of, I guess, self-replicating or self-restoring mascara. And he's creating this for a company called Maybelline, which is, I guess, an alternate reality or a parody on the company Maybelline, which it's like that commercial, like, maybe she's born with it, maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know why I made that joke. Anyway, the fact remains that what happens here is that this project is basically very similar to the Super Soldier project from the Earth 616 continuity. And so what happens here is that Dogpool is subjected to this. He's subjected to this chemical vat. But the problem is that as far as Dr. Braun's concerned, it seems as though it's basically failed. And that this self-repairing or self-replacing mascara project is going to be a total failure. And so what they do is they take this dog that's been named Wilson and they throw it in the dumpster in the back. And so what happens again with these alternate reality stories is that as the watcher is giving us this narrative, as he's telling us what it is that's taking place here, that this dog, that Wilson, basically breaks out of the bag in which he was in, telling us that he has a healing factor and begins to go about and explore the world around him. And so what we're basically told here is that this dog is referred to as Deadpool, Merc with a bark. So what happens here is we pick up with, this is ridiculous, we pick up with Dogpool as he's basically traversing, as he's walking around and as he's trying to figure things out. But the problem here is that every time he comes across anyone, they look at him in his physical form being sort of disgusting as a result of having been electrocuted and so on. And so they basically ignore him entirely, or they run him off. And so what... And so what happens here is the watcher tells us that Wilson, that Dogpool begins to have dark thoughts. Presumably he's considering suicide because his life is at this point where he doesn't see a reason to live. This is absolutely ridiculous. And so what happens here is he runs out in front of a car and he's hit by a car. Now what happens as a result is that the car keeps on going, but he's found by a couple guys who work with a circus. Now we're not explicitly told what this circus is or who it belongs to because in truth it's not really important. What happens here with the circus is that once Dogpool immediately recovers, again, due to his healing factor, they're caught in amazement by the fact that he was able to come back to life from this. And so what they begin doing is subjecting Dogpool to all these different sort of attractions, basically. And Dogpool is really interested in this because for him, it's a place of belonging. He feels like he actually belongs somewhere as part of this circus. And so we see him jumping through rings of fire. We see him being subjected to, I guess, to knife throws and different things like that. And any time that he's injured here, the fact remains that he's basically able to heal himself due to his healing factor. And so what happens is that ultimately Dr. Braun is present in the circus as they're watching this event take place, whereby the healing factor of Dogpool is effectively put to the test when they set him on fire. And so because he heals almost immediately, we find that Dr. Braun realizes that his experiment was a success, that in fact Dogpool is this new generation of, I guess, of people that have healing factors or dogs that have healing factors, and so as a result they can basically put this to use with regards to the military industrial complex. And so what happens is that once the circus show begins to come to an end, Dr. Braun and his assistant try to capture Dogpool, and Dogpool attacks the two of them and then runs them off. And so as a result they go back to the drawing board and they basically create a dog version of Wolverine. And so what they do is they travel back to the circus with this dog version of Wolverine, and they have this dog version of Wolverine immediately attack Dogpool. And so as the two of them start to fight, what Dogpool does is he almost seems to basically succumb here. He's almost totally defeated by the dog version of Wolverine. And in fact, in a very interesting turn of events, Dog Wolverine apparently has adamantium claws, and so he pops his adamantium claws, and we get the signature snicked, and he again continues to chase Dogpool. And so what happens is Dogpool basically tricks Dog Wolverine into the interior of a cannon, and then he barks at one of the circus assistants, which indicates that I guess he wants a circus assistant to set off the cannon. And so as a result, Dog Wolverine goes flying into the air, and that's the end of him. He ends up in a vat, and he kind of disintegrates, and then that's that. And so what we find is that the real Deadpool, Wade Wilson from the Earth 616 continuity, appears, and he basically says he's here to grab Dogpool so that they can save the multiverse. And that's where the story ends. So that's the origin of Dogpool. That's pretty much the story. It's weird. It's a little strange. A dog that's like Deadpool and has a healing factor. But what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to focus on Kid Deadpool, who is really cool because we'll actually see him wielding lightsabers. With that being said, I will catch you guys later. Peace. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. There you can keep up with all the updates from Comics Explained and talk to me directly.
They call me Deadpool, I'm hella fast. Can I murk the bad guys and get some ass? Got blades for days, got guns galore, got combo moves, evades and more with bear traps and hand grenades. Pull the pistol like a maniac right in your face. Popping off caps, leave a trail of guts. Sitting on my chair, scratching my nuts. I can't die, I'm invincible, but if you like to try, then I'll crush your